How to replace the top element.
Disconnect the unit from its power source. Remove the grease drawer. Flip the unit upside down to get access to the bottom of the unit. Remove the 4 feet and remove the 5 Phillips screws on the bottom cover and remove the cover. Disconnect the element wire from the relay. Then disconnect an element wire from the terminal block with a Phillips screwdriver. Check continuity of the heating element to confirm it has failed. If the element has failed, disconnect the probe wires from the control board using needle nose pliers. Feed the probe wires out of the control heat shield opening one at a time by pushing the terminal through the opening. Do not pull the wires through the opening, as you may remove the terminal by accident. Cut wire ties from the wire bundle. Next, remove the conduit nut from the top housing conduit with needle nose pliers and slide the nut from the wires. Remove top housing conduit and wires from the lower grill body. Place the bottom cover back onto the grill base and secure with the 4 feet only. Flip the unit over onto its feet, being careful to hold onto the 2 top lids so they don't spring open during the process. Remove 2 7/16" cap nuts, 2 lock washers, and 2 1/4-20 Phillips screws from the metal conduit retainer. Then pull the metal conduit from the top housing block with a little bit of a twist. Next, remove the 4 5/16" screws from the top platen. Remove the top platen from housing while holding on to the front handle. Pull the element and probe wires toward the top casting, opening top housing to relieve wire strain. Remove 4 3/8" nuts from insulation retaining strips, rear weights, and remove strips and weights. Remove the insulation. Then remove 4 3/8" nuts from the element retainer and remove the retainer. Pull element wires from sleeving. Careful not to pull sleeving and probe wires out of the top housing block. Replace the faulty element with a new one. Feed new element wires through the sleeving and top housing block. Female push-on terminal first, then the ring terminal. Careful not to push the sleeving out of the top block. Reinstall the element retainer and secure with 4 of the 3/8 inch nuts. Reinstall the insulation over the element retainer, and then reinstall the insulation retaining strips and weights and secure with 4 additional 3/8 inch nuts. Feed remaining element wires through the conduit assembly. Verify sleeving is protruding a minimum of 1 inch from inside the top housing and out of the top housing block. Next, reinstall the conduit assembly. Tuck sleeving into the metal conduit and reinsert the metal conduit into the top housing block. Twisting the conduit helps. Secure the conduit assembly to the counterbalance with 2 1/4 Phillips screws, 2 internal lock washers, and 2 7/16 caps. Pull the handle down and pull the excess wire from the top housing. It is critical to leave minimum of 1 inch slack in the top housing for element wires and probe wires to prevent wire strain. Reattach the platen to the top housing, secured with 4 5/16 inch screws. Next, lower both top housings. Then flip the unit upside down, being careful to hold on to both top housings while doing so. Remove the 4 feet and the bottom cover. Feed the element and probe wires through the opening in the rear of the grill body. Install a conduit nut over the wires, teeth on nut towards the sheet metal, and secure the conduit to the grill body. Tighten with the needle nose plier. Next, reconnect the element wire to the relay and ensure it's fully seated. Then, reconnect the element wire to the terminal block, tighten with a Phillips screwdriver. Next, verify all screws are tight on the terminal block with a Phillips screwdriver. Feed the probe wires through the control heat shield opening, pushing through the opening by the terminals. Then reconnect the probe wires to the control board in their proper location. Retie all the wire ties into bundles, ensuring no wires are close to the element. Flip the unit over onto its feet, being careful to hold onto the two top lids so they don't spring open during the process. Plug the unit into the power supply. The two-sided grills produced since September of 2018 feature a diagnostics tool to ensure the wiring is correct to all of the internal components. To run the diagnostics, with the power off, press and hold the first button on the left display and turn the power on. The diagnostics feature will test the bottom platen first, the top left platen second, and the top right platen third. If all three zones are correct, the display will show PAS. If there is a wiring issue, the display will show FAIL. When the test of each individual zone is complete, press the first button to begin the test of the next zone. At the completion of testing of all three zones, turn the unit off and turn it back on again for normal operation.